In this video, we will cover Chapter 1, Lesson 4, Ratio Tables. The objective we're going to be focusing on is that students will be able to use tables to solve problems involving ratios and rates. So it's sticking to the theme of the chapter, and the theme of the chapter is ratios and rates. So we're still going to be dealing with ratios and rates. We have the essential questions for Chapter 1, which is still how do you use equivalent rates in the real world. And then we also have Lesson 4, essential question. How can you determine if two ratios are equivalent? So our vocabulary for this lesson are as follows. We have ratio table. This is an example of a ratio table. So you can see that you have different ratios. Basically, this is telling you that the pizza, $5, and costs, oh, I messed up. Let me fix it really quickly. I should have cost up here, sorry. And I should have pizza down here, sorry. So what this is telling you is that every pizza costs $5, or that 3 pizzas cost $15. If you do a ratio table correctly, then you will get an equivalent ratio. Equivalent ratio, obviously equi is kind of looks like equal. So that's basically what it means. It's a ratio that is equal or a fraction that is equal. So these are examples of equivalent ratios right here. In order to test to see if they are truly equivalent ratios, then you should be able to cross multiply and get the same answer. So if you do this correctly, your answers for this lesson should always be able to do this. You're going to cross multiply 5 times 3, which gives me 15. And if you did it correctly, if you cross multiply the other side, it will give you the same answer. 15 times 1, which is also 15. So that is what equivalent ratios are. All of the answers for all of these problems should always be an equivalent ratio, meaning that they always give you the same response. And if that works with your answer, then you know you did it correctly. So how are we going to solve ratio tables? How are we going to use ratio tables? We're going to be using scaling. Scaling means that you should be able to multiply or divide by the same number. So it's kind of what we did in the last lesson. We actually did do scaling. I just didn't call it scaling. I just wanted to make sure you guys understood it. But basically multiplying and dividing by the same number, meaning that if you multiply one number on the bottom, you should do the same thing on the top to give you the same answer. Same if you divide. If you divide by a number, you should be able to do it on the numerator too to get the same answer. So look right here. We have $5, 15, and we have 1, 3. So what I want you to think is, what did we do to the 1 to make it become a 3? What did you do to the 1 to make it become a 3? If you said multiply by 3, you are correct. So in order for scaling to work, you have to do the same thing to the other side. So if I multiply by 3 here, you should do the same thing, multiply by 3 there. And that is what scaling is. So 1 times 3 is 3, that checks out. And then 5 times 3 is 15, so that also checks out. And that's how scaling works. Multiply or divide by the same number. Now that you have an idea of the vocabulary, we could get started with the problems.